You're staring at the screen. The candle is moving, your heart is racing, and you know, deep down, that you shouldn't be entering this trade. But you do it anyway. You click buy. 10 seconds later, the price drops, your stop loss is hit, and you're down 2% of your account in a single heartbeat. You didn't lose because the market was rigged. You lost because you were a slave to your own impulses. You are not alone. Almost every trader who has ever stood in the arena of the financial markets has felt that exact same hollow pit in their stomach, that moment of realization when the ego takes the wheel and drives the account off a cliff. But what if there was a way to disconnect the noise of your emotions from the cold, hard reality of the charts? What if the secret to trading success wasn't a better indicator or a faster algorithm, but a 2,000-year-old philosophy designed for the toughest minds in history? Today, we are talking about Stoicism. Not the kind you read in dusty textbooks, but the kind that keeps you alive when the market decides to turn against you. Stoicism is often misunderstood as being emotionless or robotic. That is a dangerous misconception. To be a Stoic trader is not to suppress your emotions, it is to master the gap between the event and your reaction. Think of the market as a storm. You cannot stop the wind from blowing, and you cannot stop the waves from crashing against your ship. If you try to control the storm, you will drown. The Stoic trader understands that the market is entirely outside of their control. The only thing you truly own is your reaction to the movement of price. When you enter a trade, you are making a decision based on probability, not destiny. Yet, most traders treat every red candle as a personal insult and every green candle as a validation of their genius. This is the first trap. When you equate your P&L to your self-worth, you are effectively handing the keys to your mental health over to the market. And the market is a cruel landlord. It doesn't care about your rent, your ego, or how much you need this trade to work out. It only cares about liquidity. To master the art of trading, you must first accept that your emotions are the most expensive overhead you have. Let's look at the concept of the dichotomy of control. Epictetus, a slave-turned-philosopher, taught that some things are up to us and some things are not. In trading, the outcome of your trade is not up to you. You can have the perfect setup, the perfect risk-to-reward ratio, and the perfect execution, and the trade can still fail. That is the nature of the game. If you tie your happiness to the outcome, you will inevitably suffer. If you tie your satisfaction to the process, you become invincible. Think about the last time you overtraded. Why did you do it? Was it because you saw a genuine opportunity? Or was it because you were angry at a loss and wanted to get even with the market? Revenge trading is the purest form of ego. It is the childish belief that you can force the market to pay you back for your mistakes. The Stoic approach is to look at that loss, acknowledge it, and then step away. It is the radical acceptance of the reality of the moment. If you lose, you lose. The money is gone. The trade is over. The only variable that matters now is how you show up for the next one. This requires an immense amount of discipline. Discipline is not a trait you are born with, it is a muscle you build through repetitive, uncomfortable choices. Every time you refrain from taking a bad trade, you are strengthening that muscle. Every time you close a winning trade exactly at your target instead of getting greedy, you are refining your character. This is the path to the professional trader mindset. It is a lonely, quiet path. There are no fireworks, there is no dopamine hit from a lucky win, and there is no glory in following your rules when everyone else is gambling on high-leverage memes. But it is the only path that leads to long-term profitability. Consider the analogy of a sailor. A sailor does not argue with the sea. He adjusts his sails. He watches the horizon. He prepares for the worst, even when the sky is clear. When you approach your trading desk, you should have the same demeanor. You are not a gambler trying to beat the house. You are a risk manager, a technician, a student of probability. You are there to execute your plan with the precision of a surgeon and the detachment of a judge. If you find yourself sweating, if you find your breath becoming shallow, if you find yourself checking your broker app every 30 seconds, you have lost your center. You have become a spectator to your own chaos. The Stoic way out is the practice of negative visualization. Before you enter a trade, imagine everything that could go wrong. Imagine the slippage, the stop loss being skipped, the internet going down, the market reversing instantly. If you can sit with that possibility and still feel calm, you are ready to trade. If the thought of losing makes you anxious, you are betting too much. Risk management is not just a mathematical formula, it is a psychological safety net. It is the physical manifestation of your discipline. When you size your positions correctly, you are saying to yourself, I am prepared to be wrong. And that, my friend, is the most powerful statement a trader can make. Most people fear being wrong because they think it proves they are failures. The Stoic knows that being wrong is simply data. It is a signal that the hypothesis was incorrect. It is a necessary cost of doing business. If you treat your losses as lessons rather than personal failures, you remove the emotional sting that leads to revenge trading. You stop being a victim of the market and start being a student of it. This shift in perspective is what separates the 95% who blow their accounts from the 5% who build wealth. It is about the long game. Trading is a marathon, but most people run it like they are in a 100-meter dash, sprinting until they collapse. You need to pace yourself. You need to treat your capital like a precious resource, not a ticket to a casino. Stop focusing on the what if of the massive win and start focusing on the what if of the consistent, boring, disciplined execution. The reality is that true financial freedom is not found in the adrenaline rush of a high-leverage trade. It is found in the quiet, steady compounding of small, smart decisions. It is found in the ability to walk away from the charts when the market is not giving you what you need. It is found in the realization that you are the master of your own mind, regardless of the red or green candles on your screen. You have to be willing to be uncomfortable. You have to be willing to look at your mistakes in the mirror and not blame the market, the news, or the broker. When you take full responsibility for your actions, you take back your power. You stop being a passenger and you become the driver. This is the essence of the Stoic trader. It is not about winning every day, it is about keeping your head when everyone else is losing theirs. It is about maintaining your integrity as a trader, even when the pressure is at its peak. Look at the best traders in the world. They aren't the ones with the flashiest cars or the biggest wins. They are the ones with the most consistent routines, the most rigid risk management, and the most stable temperaments. They have mastered the art of not caring about the outcome of a single trade because they know the math is on their side in the long run. They have transcended the need for validation. They don't trade to prove something to the world, they trade to execute a system they have spent years perfecting. And that is the ultimate freedom. The freedom from the emotional roller coaster. The freedom from the fear of losing. The freedom to just do the work, day in and day out, without complaint or hesitation. You are building a career, not a lottery ticket. Treat your trading like a business, and it will pay you like a business. Treat it like a hobby, and it will cost you like a luxury habit. The choice is yours every single morning. When you wake up, before you even open your charts, set your intention. Remind yourself that the market is indifferent to your goals. Remind yourself that your only job is to be the disciplined executor of your plan. If you fail, you analyze and you move on. If you win, you stay humble and you move on. There is no room for arrogance, and there is no room for despair. There is only the process. The process is your religion. The process is your anchor. When the market gets volatile and your heart starts to beat faster, remember that you are a Stoic. You observe, you adapt, and you execute. You do not react. You do not spiral. You do not break. You stay the course even when the path is narrow and the fog is thick. This is the only way to survive the relentless pressure of the financial markets. It is not an easy path, but it is the only one that leads to true mastery. You are the architect of your own trading psychology, and every trade is a brick in the foundation of your success. Build it with intention, build it with logic, and build it with the unshakable belief that you are in control of your mind, no matter what the market does. True trading mastery isn't found in predicting the future, but in mastering your reaction to the present.